Okay. And that should be it. All right. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Um, so before I start the recording, we'll have our pre-show.
Sounds good.
Uh,
I got my ears on.
yeah.
Got the camera set. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to InnervisionFM.com. It's Monday.
Yes, another beautiful Monday, man. And this weekend it was interesting, especially in Colorado, as they clamored and said the weather's changing, and I was telling my wife, and we'll get more into this, that 2001, May 25th, I was working at this club called what was this club called? It was a hotel. It was in a hotel, paid very good. And so we had a party. I don't know what we were celebrating. Oh yeah, maybe the Memorial Weekend. Isn't it Memorial Weekend this weekend, right?
Yeah,
that's the
coming up. It's just
so
coming
we're
up.
celebrating that. And we had a sort of the DJs and the sound people we're gonna get together at the soundman's house and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a beautiful day, just beautiful day, sunny. Some guys, they rode their motorcycle in with shorts on and stuff like that. And then about 1:30, 2 o'clock, it turned to the North Pole. And I felt bad about these guys who rode the motorcycle because, if you're riding a motorcycle, it's one thing, you're riding into the wind and, it's a nice sunny day and it's cooling you off, but it's another thing if you're riding into rain and snow and sleet.
I tell you, that it'll set you free, boy.
Oh, yeah. But, so when they started talking about this silly stuff about, oh, it's snowing in Colorado and it's May and it's doing this, over there. I just say BS. Or remember, where were you like in 2003, in the March of 2003 when that big snowstorm just about closed down Denver? I don't know about if it closed down everything else, but
yes, it definitely, there were 5-6 feet of snow on the streets, and then there were 8-10 foot drifts. In fact, I've got a picture of my firstborn child standing on a snowbank, even with the roof of the house. So basically, you could see the roof of the house to see her standing up on top there of the snowbank.
That is wow. Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I had to go to work. I worked for a big box corporation that they didn't close their doors for anything. So I remember walking directly down the middle of the street because, of course, the sidewalks were all covered over with snow. And so the only place to walk was right down the middle of the street. So I had to walk, well, like I say, right down the middle of the street to get to work.
That is wow. Yeah, and I think I had a friend. She got in a fight with her boyfriend, and I don't know why she came over to my house. I mean, like as if I wanted to hear that kind of stuff. So she's wearing like sandals, summer blouse, no jacket, no nothing like that. And I spent the next, I guess, 3 to 4 days listening to her making up with her boyfriend. And then he was trying to send a cab to pick her up, but all the side streets where we were on, you couldn't get a cab through there.
Right.
So it took about 4 days before they got a cab, and I could get her out of my hair and get back to.
Well, I'll tell you, that's it.
Not hearing the soap opera.
Example of absence makes the heart grow fonder. I would imagine, being away from each other for 3-4 days, just coming off a fight like that. Why? I would imagine they had some making up to do. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, you're on Innervision FM, and we've got a number of topics. Let's see.
Definitely.
Why are the so-called experts pushing pills rather than fruits and vegetables? So that's a topic we've got on deck. Have you heard about the next pandemic? The next one's going to be probably kicked off fairly shortly here, as our illustrious president will be handing over medical sovereignty to the WHO today.
That ain't never going to happen.
What did you say, Joe?
Happen. Thank you, Mike. Ain't never going to happen. But
never going to happen.
yeah, it's interesting because we got the Democrats pushing what's now termed as monkeypox. It's been in the States for a couple of months, but I just got a feeling it's going to see a great resurgence. Will this be another reason to lock us down just in time for the midterm elections? Let's talk about genius.
Yes.
The
mayor.
Black mayor bucks progressive on the chessboard of education. I'm not really sure what that's about.
Well, he wants to encourage charter schools, and as you know, because the school boards are pretty much bought by the union, they think they don't want to share that money with a school system that will teach the kids, and they're not so concerned with the money, but teaching the kids for real. And the school board is they're just more concerned with getting the money and and telling the parents, we can't teach your kids. So
if you've got 10 kids, how do you separate the smart ones from the the folks that might need a little bit of extra attention?
Yeah, okay. Like I'll give you for instance. I was in a classroom where there was mostly like thugs in my classroom. So our teacher had to calm down the thugs, and then he had to work with the rest of us who wanted to learn. So you got the thugs over here disrupting and all that kind of stuff. And I remember there was one thug, he was hanging out the back door, and the teacher snuck around and he slammed the door shut, right? The thug he said, you could have slammed my hand. I said, he said, yeah. We're trying to do a class up here and you're disrupting class back there. So, yeah, so.
Yeah, you can't be disruptive in a class. You know, I was in special education. Good morning, y'all. And you can't.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's hard to learn, man, when you deal with people who don't want to be there. And my school had a solution for that. You don't want to be here? Leave. And if you leave, they fine your parents for not showing up. They had a solution for all that. and it worked, right? Because people don't want to be fined $2,000-$3,000 a day or more. Because at the end of the day, you get your butt in that classroom and you learn. Because if you don't have any type of education, it's hard for somebody to hire you when you have no education. And that's something that my grandmother told me. You might not make it to college, or you might not be able to do that, but at least please have mercy, graduate high school. That's what my grandma used to tell me. And that is true today. So folks that are acting up, schools have a solution for you.
Speaking of education and employment, the blind community run into a little bit of a difficulty at times when it comes to employment. And so we have a topic, can blind or visually impaired individuals earn a good living in America? A 2015 study showed that the more educated that you are, if you read Braille Weekly and use a white cane, the earning level, at least according to these statistics, goes up. The average pay level was about $30,000 a year, and that's for full-time workers.
Wow.
You know, it's
not good.
not all that much money when you think about it.
No,
No, that's not.
no, it's not good. It's not
Hmm.
good, and that's why it's hard for people with disabilities, whether you're visually impaired or disabled. They had a study saying that disabled people, the least of those, we don't get the good paying jobs because a lot of us don't get opportunities. Like when I was at the Special Olympics, your brain is filled with so much. As a disabled person, you're told that you're not able to take care of yourself. You're not allowed to be independent. All these things, they have something called a chaperone, somebody who watches you everywhere you go. And you don't need that.
Hmm.
I don't need that. And see, in this life, when you graduate life, you don't have a chaperone in the real world. And that's something that Special Olympics should get rid of. And those who want to have that, cool. For those who don't, great. I never needed that because I felt in my life that I can do better, and I am. I'm glad to be independent and living on my own and not in a group home. That's what the Special Olympics wants disabled. If you notice, they're building all these communities and day hab centers. If you ever noticed that, or what they call adult daycare, because they try to take
Yes.
you from, that's what they call them out here, adult daycare centers. And they make these people work all day for pennies to nothing because they try to make me do that to make $2 an hour. I don't think so. No, sir.
We're also going to
Sure.
cover a little bit about white privilege.
Oh,
That's a big topic that's out there these days. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Where do you want to
Wow.
start today, Johnny?
Well, okay, let's see.
wow.
start
I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start. Okay, up there with the these experts always recommending a pill, and never recommending something that's not gonna,
Oh, my
I guess
God.
fill their bank account. Which I think some of these doctors they want to use you as a ATM machine, and I know people
A
need to make some
placebo
money.
or a test. We're not a placebo or a test either. So, yeah, don't be
Yeah.
doing tests on us. Oh my gosh.
And I think for the last 2.5 years, none of these experts ever got on TV and said, "Well, if you get out in the sun, that kills a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
If you,
it does.
if you cut out some of this junk food, that's another thing. And I know it takes discipline, but
I have. Look, hey, I told somebody either you cut out that junk food, you're going to be as big as a house. And I cut out junk for a lot of it because I want to live longer. So you got a point.
Yeah. My brother, I had a brother. He's like 6'6", and I mean, when he was
Wow.
young, I mean, he was like fit and trim. He was like in the army and stuff like that. And then when he got older, he was just driving around and he would stop at all these Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, and stuff. And he came, and my other brother said, have you ever hugged your brother? And I said, no, I haven't hugged him lately. He's like, you can't hug him because you can't get your arm around him.
Oh my.
And he was as big as a house, and he used to love to bake. But it's one thing to bake and give it away, but he liked to bake and eat half of his fixings.
Oh
So-
my. Oh, man.
So yeah, he got to be. And then he would, when he walked in, he would be like, and I'm thinking like, man, what's going on? I mean, your wife is as skinny as a rail. Is she just throwing the food at you or something, or why is she like pulling the cake away from your? I don't know what it was in that household,
man.
but she was as skinny as a rail, and he was huffing and puffing and had to have oxygen. And I'm thinking like, you're a military guy. I mean, you know how to
Take care of
do
yourself.
knuckle push-ups and all.
All this stuff.
I would sit on his back when I was younger, and he would be doing push-ups.
Wow.
And I said, I mean, and I just just when anyway, so but the last thing the doctors were telling you is how to do something, and I can't think the mindset in these guys are, well, that's too hard. It's easier just to give you a pill, see you in a month or so, and let it be like that, and rather than really putting in the time.
Big Pharma has pushed that for decades, though. They pushed it for decades.
That's where the problem comes in. And then the doctors won't do anything because they get paid too big from big pharma. So I mean,
So and with these samples, I used to know a lady that I guess she was depressed, and she would tell me that the doctor would give her all these samples, and I'm thinking like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Like, if this sample doesn't work, try this other sample, and then come back and see me in a month.
if you make it.
If you make it, if you don't commit suicide first.
Oh,
Now
man.
you guys are out of the country, so you guys have access to good non-GMO foods. Thing, pills and that kind of thing just aren't being pushed, at least as far as I know, as readily in some of these other countries, Estonia. I wouldn't know about the Philippines too much, but
I mean, they have their pharmacy giants here too, but the regulations they have for the prescription stuff is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
People they have dispensing it, I mean, they're just a bunch of idiots. But I mean, it's
Oh man.
So I think
got people that
if
don't know
you're-
what they doing serving medicine. Oh man.
well, the bottom line is, I think that's a good point, Ashton. Is medical professionals go to school for a long
Right.
time to get to where they get to, but there is a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but there is a reason why it's still called practicing medicine.
Yes. Yeah, and they need someone to
I-
practice on, so
I
you're
think
it.
that there's some reason for practice when they call it practicing medicine, because you're always having people that are coming in there to learn. So they're always, in other words, new people are coming in there. When you're an actual doctor, you're not, they don't tell you you're practicing you get a doctorate or get something next to your name as you move up into the medical field, because my doctor let me know about that. I said, well, why does that say that? And she kind of let me know that is actually saying that new recruits, new people are always coming in here, kind of like football, right? But they can't use football terms, so that's the terms that they use for new people. Yeah.
lawyers also need to practice.
Yeah, I don't want new people practicing on me. That's what I told him.
How do you tell when a lawyer's lying?
These larger hospitals, these people work.
How do you tell when a lawyer's lying, Mike?
His mouth is moving.
His mouth is moving.
Oh no.
A shout out to all the attorneys out there. We're just kidding, folks. It's
Right.
just a joke.
We like attorneys.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Professionals.
Hey, I want to
Oh,
remind you.
gosh.
Hey, want to
So-
remind you guys that hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and also our sponsor is Christian Brothers Moving Company. They're located in Englewood, parts of Texas, and I think also in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you need a company that will help you move and with people that will not damage your furniture or your property or whatever, Christian Brothers Moving Company is the place to go.
They're in
So-
Texas.
Yeah, they are in Texas, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh, might have to.
So-
Okay, brother. I see you.
Hell yeah,
I
they're
might
pretty
have to
reasonable
call
too.
them because I ain't moving all this stuff by myself.
Talk about the
Looking
next
at
pandemic. You guys hear of monkeypox? I've heard of chicken pox, and I remember when I was a
heard of that.
kid, I got chicken pox. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and my neighbor comes over. He says, "Hey, you want to come out and play?" I says, "No, I got chicken pox." And he says, "Do they have real chickens in them?"
Wow. Yeah, wow.
So I got to
man.
wonder.
I got that
What's-
when I was a kid and I didn't like it, but they said as an adult, you sure don't want it. So it was best to get it as a child, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good example of evolving science. Chicken pox used to be one of those deals where you had parties where you get people together to make sure that all their kids got the chicken pox quick.
We did.
Really?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. If you got chicken pox, everybody came over.
Right.
We lived out in the country.
I have never
Everybody-
heard of that in my life. I guess I'm
Oh,
too
Oh yeah.
stacked. In the hood.
I-
In the hood, you think
yeah.
they finna throw a party?
Chicken pox party.
Our party.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my
Some
God.
Yeah, I've
people
heard
love
of it.
chicken pot pie though.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a while since I've eaten me a good chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie.
So
Oh,
we got this
man.
new thing coming out. It's called monkeypox. Don't know too much
know what
about
that
it.
is.
It hit the States.
There's only, I heard there was only 2 cases here, but you know, Ebola started like that, and a lot of things started like this. But I heard there was a conference last year, and they were talking about this, and that's
Yes.
why I called it a plandemic rather than just a
Well, and
or whatever they call it.
last fall they had that monkey truck dump over in Pennsylvania, and all these monkeys got loose.
Right?
You was telling about that.
Yeah.
I missed that story. Did any of you other guys heard? I mean, that is something else.
It was
And
pretty
so-
wild.
Wow.
You know, it's one of those stories where you look at it and you're like, oh, I got to get back to reading it. And you never do.
Now,
Yeah,
were they
I
taking
mean-
these?
Crazy. I didn't read
Were they-
it. I didn't
were
know
they
what
taking
to do.
these-
I said, this is crazy. You
Were they
know,
taking
for
these
real.
monkeys to a zoo or something? Or
I don't remember. I know when it came out with that story, they had just done that pandemic thing for the next virus thing, and it's like,
oh,
oh yeah, here we go.
that is wow.
Yeah, and they keep saying that this stuff is changing and all that. I've never heard of that until y'all. I'm looking it up. That's what I was doing, and I just don't know. Like I told somebody, this is the reason that a lot of these immigrants and other people are being vetted, not because of this or that, because of communicable diseases. They was talking about that on a news channel, and things like that. So it's very serious when they do that, because there are diseases that
Okay.
can be transmitted, and you end up having thousands of people sick. So I understand with that, but this is weird. It's really strange. I've never heard of that.
Remember
It looks weird.
now. Remember when a long time ago when they said, "Don't let the bed bugs bite." Well,
Yeah, those
that,
are real.
that used to be a joke until they let all these people come in who had bed bugs in their country, and they brought them back over to this country. So we really do have to watch what's coming in. And like if you come through the legal way, they give you all these shots. They make sure that you're physically well, that you're not just coming in to get on the dole. But this other way that they're doing, nobody's being checked for anything. So who knows what might be
Well, that's
coming
why they're
in.
trying to keep that law in place. The Supreme Court or somebody said they're trying to keep this law that's in place
Oh,
during the
Title
pandemic, 'cause it
II,
allows
Title
them to vet
42.
them.
42, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, because they can just take it to another court, and maybe that other court will say, "Well, we agree with you. We'll end it." So it just depends.
Well, hopefully they keep it in place, because like they said, people was out here in Texas when all those Haitians were under that bridge. It was thousands of them, dude, under that bridge out here. And so a lot of them were trying to escape poverty. When you look at their country, that's not Mexico. These people weren't fleeing Mexico or somewhere. They were literally fleeing. One lady replied and said, "I have no roof at my house." They were sleeping in a house with no roof in this part of the world. That's crazy.
Thanks to the
So that's the type of
Clinton
stuff they're escaping.
Foundation.
Yeah,
They're the ones that put that deal together.
Oh, yeah.
roof. You can't sleep in a house with no
Clinton.
roof, and so these people are escaping that stuff. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
A lot of things happening. Yeah. Now, this next one, I saw this comedian doing this thing about white privilege, and he was poor, and he was living beside another black person, and he said his black friends were saying, "Man, you stole stuff from me," and he had to look around and says, "Where did I hide your stuff if I stole your stuff?"
Man, dang, for real.
And
Oh,
he said,
man.
man, he said, I'm poor right here with you. Go in my house, look for your stuff. You
Right.
know, and if you find
You
it,
stole that thing I
tell
stole
me.
from you before.
Oh my God.
Oh, and that's
So
the
I
way
guess
I
Yeah,
guess.
gosh, go
is-
look for it. If I have it, I remember telling somebody, I said, no, don't sit here and say I took something. I said, I said, and they ended up finding whatever it was. He ended up finding that in a vehicle under a seat. I said, no, no. I said, bro, I would never take anything.
If somebody comes to
That's what
rob
you
me,
gotta
I'm
do
going to
in
help
this
them
life.
because I want to find the money too.
Right? I'm like, no, I ain't take no money from you. And he ended up finding it behind the seat of the car. So it's a good thing.
Right.
Why-
So,
hey. Go ahead.
all right, because I'm saying sometimes you gotta start thinking with critical thinking, and the people that are really stealing from you are probably looking at you guys fighting over something that they stole. And
Right. They're laughing
you know,
at you,
Oh, man.
sitting there across
Yeah.
the street, and they got your kid's bike, and you're sitting there fighting with your neighbor over whether he stole your bike or not, and they're laughing at you across the street, going, "Well, I got your kid's Schwinn right here."
yeah.
Right. That's crazy.
I used to go to school with a kleptomaniac guy named Gallagher, and I mean,
Oh, I remember.
we would go out to lunch, and our teacher would say, "We'll bring stuff to show and tell." And our teacher said, "Don't take the stuff out the playground. Put it on the back shelf, and everybody leave the room." And he would sneak back in, steal it, and then we used to have those little mash cards. He would put it in his shoe, walk normally, and the teacher would have to strip search him. If something was missing, she would strip search this 9-year-old.
Wow.
And he was just a kleptom, even to the very day. I mean, I invited him over to my wife and I's house. We were 32 years old, and she was looking for the TV schedule, and she couldn't find it. We would have gave it to him.
Right.
If you wanted to see the TV guy, and he just all of his life so I won't let him in my apartment because I don't have time to chase him around. I don't want to go back.
Yeah, you don't got time to find out if he finna steal your clothes, your shoes, your food. I remember living with somebody, and that person, they stole stuff. It's like you wake up, where your shirt at? Your shirt is rolled up in their bra. They got your shirt rolled up in their bra. I said, oh, this is bad. I gotta go.
Well, I tell you, that brings back some good memories, man. I remember Gallagher just like it was yesterday. He
oh my God.
this
you
guy.
You ran into Gallagher?
Oh, well, I went to the school for the deaf and blind with John Gallagher for a while, and
Wow.
so
Oh, God.
he was a big Star Trek guy. So me and him hit it off real good
Cool.
up until he started stealing my stuff.
So this guy, I could never figure out what was going on in his personal life that he just felt that he had to have other people's stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, he's same age as I am, and he's still doing it. And I just don't.
That's
End up
crazy.
in jail.
Maybe he just picks the right people where it won't send him, or maybe he doesn't go over.
But you pick
a certain
the wrong
amount.
people in the wrong place, you might not be going somewhere yourself. Might be
He's
up
going to
under
California
something, keep
then.
taking stuff from people. So
Well, yeah,
in the hood,
he
they don't
was
play that.
California before it was California.
Oh,
He was
wow.
California before it was-
Oh,
Yeah,
my
because out there you could steal $900.
$900 or something like that.
That's right.
oh no.
So yeah, he could have
Oh, my
graduated from
God.
mash cars to maybe a used car.
Right. He'll steal your actual vehicles. No, man. That happened to somebody
Oh.
I knew. They let somebody, over their place, and the lady went to go lay down, and next thing she heard the person was joyriding in her car around the thing. I said, oh my God.
Hey, speaking
I
of
said, somebody
traveling,
let you over their house and you joyriding in their car. Who does that?
Oh man.
hey, speaking of traveling, you guys ever stay in hotels, get food poisoning, things like this?
No. not
Yeah.
food poisoning.
With some of these food recalls and things, we got a latest recall on
It-
some peanut butter, I guess. And a lot of
What do you
times,
mean?
you know,
Peanut butter, yeah.
to try to save some money, what I'll end up doing is going to the store, grabbing some stuff, hitting the hotel room, you know, things like this. But there are times where you get room service. So, I mean, what are some good or bad experiences you might have had in hotels?
Now, I could tell you one, whenever you go to Egypt, it never fails, and they warn you about this.
Oh yeah,
For some reason, I'm not sure what they're doing, but the majority of people will get like I don't know, food poisoning or prolonged diarrhea, or whatever, and it never fails. I mean, some people will get it, some people will not, and I don't know what it is about Egypt, but it's like all this food, and it looks good, it tastes good, but in 24 hours, you're not leaving the bathroom for a while.
Hey,
and
Rose.
and they warn you
Is there
about this,
something
you know.
wrong with the food? Like that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't end up sick because you ate an
I-
apple or something.
I
That's
don't
crazy.
understand what they're doing, and the hotels are beautiful, and
It's
you know,
not
and
wrong.
$5 you
How do they
We
clean
could drink the
themselves
water.
when they use the toilet?
that
That's
is
a
that
good-
the one with is that the one where they have a cup and they dip the water, they
Yeah.
use the left hand or the right hand?
It's the right hand, and the left hand is used for shaking.
Whoa.
Okay, so that could be it, because the custom is you get a cup of water and you clean your, you know, after you get to number two,
Right.
with your hand, with water in hand, and if there's stuff on there and you're preparing food, I think that's what
That's not a
was
good
happening.
thing. You transferring, and they don't ever watch.
I mean,
things. Like, I
that's
noticed that
done
when I
here
was
as well. You know,
Yeah.
I
They
They
mean,
do it here?
here in the Philippines, I mean, because most people don't use toilet paper. They don't have a clue
Oh,
what toilet
man.
paper is used for. They use it for blowing their nose and stuff. But
Hmm.
and most sewage lines won't. They don't want you putting toilet paper in there because it plugs everything up.
Sure, because they use a smaller.
Really?
Yeah, they use a
Yeah,
smaller
really.
line.
I mean, I have my own sewage system in here where I build, and in my toilet I've got a sprayer nozzle next to the toilet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's smart, but you're not using your hands. So I was overseas and I was actually in Dubai, and it's very pristine there. And I had an excellent experience as far as the food is top of the quality and nobody got sick. Dubai and United Arab Emirates, they take their health very seriously over there. Very seriously.
Yeah, I worked in
Lawsuits.
United Arab Emirates hangar.
Hmm.
I worked there for 3 or 4 months, and
Isn't it nice?
yeah, but it's not pristine like you think. They don't have a sewage system. They don't.
We
They don't?
stayed in a very nice
No.
hotel for $600 a night.
I was paying $550 a night,
Wow.
but they do
Wow.
not have a sewage system.
What did they do?
All the tankers out to
Where
the
were
desert.
you at? We stayed in a beautiful
Dubai.
hotel, baby. We had
Well,
security.
yeah, I mean the hotels were beautiful and stuff, but they don't have a sewage system. They have all these high rises and stuff, the birds and stuff like that, but they don't have a sewage system.
Wow, that's
And-
fast.
They take
Yeah,
it
what-
10
That's
miles out to the
fascinating
desert,
because it
dump
looked
it,
gorgeous.
then it runs back into the ocean. You don't want to swim there.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh
It's
man.
sewage water.
What?
Yeah.
We've only got a
A
couple of minutes
beautiful
left.
country
We
like
want to
that?
thank everybody
They have a
for.
sewer system?
We've only got a couple of minutes left. We want to thank everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
One final topic that I wanted to cover really quick is the topic of employment with regard to the blind community. We hear all the time that 70% of the blind community in the United States are unemployed. That statistic really never goes up, never goes down. And that's why I know that statistic is cooked. I would
Yeah.
make it more like 9 out of 10 of the blind community that don't work. And those that do work, they've either got a really high powered education and are working, I don't know, your basic phone job or your basic pigeonhole job where their degree is not being used, or even if their degree is being used, the percentage of blind individuals that, have a job that makes them able to make, over $100,000 a
Something.
year, it's just not there.
Hmm.
So, what's the answer to this? You've got, let's see, a 2015 study done by Edward C. Bell.
Okay.
He's the director of the Professional Development and Research Institute on Blindness at Louisiana. So check out some of what he's got going. We just got to figure it out. We can't, as a blind community, wait for, quote, big daddy government to figure it out for us.
Yeah,
we're going to have to get.
Government's not doing a good job of that. They keep making these blind people work, these meager, at least out here in Texas. I can't speak everywhere, but in our state, we don't take care of disabled people very well in this state. And there's a law in our state where they can pay you $2 an hour. Look it up, guys, if you're disabled. And that's why, for me to solve that problem, you learn to have your own business. You learn to have your own stuff. Get my book, Swimming Upstream to Realize a Dream, Walmart and Amazon, because for me, that is the way. Teach people how to feed themselves. That's how you solve that problem. Teach people how to have LLCs or businesses or corporations. That is what you do, to teach blind people that, or even people like myself, that you can do it, because I'm a visually impaired person and I have a book and I'm fixing to start my own speaking business. God willing, you can do this, and that's how you solve those problems. Teach a man how to fish. Amen.
Amen.
Here at Innervision FM, Johnny Johnson, the president here, has written a book, also available on Amazon and paperback, called 6 Shades of Blindness. Y'all ought to check that out. It's an autobiography of what Johnny experienced as a young person going blind and finally losing the rest of his sight in his later years.
Right. And also, I'm running for HD5 in Colorado. People are starting to visit my site and they're saying, put a donation on your page. So we put a donation thing up there, and then I have to do the paperwork. You wouldn't believe the hoops you have to jump through just to get donations. I mean, the Secretary of State, she is really trying to stick it to people to get money. And I don't know where that money, those fines and all those stuff goes to. It probably goes in their pockets. But it's happening. But anyway, we're going to close the show out.
Why are they fining you for trying to help people? That don't make any sense.
Well, if you miss some paperwork, they'll fine you $50 a day until you figure out that you missed that paperwork. And then they have that hanging over your head and say, well, we'll make a decision a couple of months from now to see if you have to pay that fine back. But
that's crazy.
It's crazy. But we need to get her out of this office because it's a racket. But we'll talk more about that.
Well, they need to do better. That's all. I mean, they need to. I mean, like I told somebody, you're human like me, and it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. I think that people need to step up. Both parties, whomever it may be, step up and start solving a lot of these problems that people are dealing with. And it's not only on the government's back. I remember someone said, well, the government should make baby formula. No.
Get involved at the local, state, federal levels. Get involved at the local, state, and federal levels, and take back the levers of power within our halls of government. Visit useip.org for more information about voter integrity.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, God bless everybody, and we'll see you guys later.
Send me the notification again, and I'll get on.